Hey guys, one bunch on the video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Wednesday morning. Hope everyone's all right. Hope everyone is okay. They're having a good week so far. And obviously the game tonight, 7:30 kickoff, Spurs versus champions of England, Manchester City, in what I can only describe as a bizarre game, really, coming up. Um, a bizarre game. The reason why I say that is of how odd the league is this current situation. You've got Man City who, they are the champions of England. And on their day, they can still beat anyone, absolutely anyone, right? But it seems to be it's a little bit miserable. There's a lot of people down on Manchester City and Spurs who are, well, in the bottom half of the table. Seems to be people are a little bit more on board with them at the moment than Man City, which is a bit odd. So we're going to be talking about the game. We've got loads of quotes from Ange, loads of really good stuff from Ange as well, by the way. He talks about Bentancur's contract situation. He talks about the returning players from injury and how we got some really good news surrounding those guys. So there is some cracking stuff to get into. So I'm buzzing for this. I hope you are as well. Morning, Sonia, Jake, Steve, Spurs, Matt, Polly, Milton, Jazz. How are we all? Thank you all, by the way, for your birthday wishes yesterday. I do very much appreciate it. I had a lovely day. And Spurs definitely couldn't ruin my birthday, which was nice. All right. MS, mate, how are you, my friend? So look, let's talk about some of the stuff coming out of the press conference yesterday, because it's cracking. There's some really great stuff out of the press conference. They asked about team news. First and foremost, we'll go with that. And he says it'll be the same as the weekend squad-wise. Everyone got through the weekend well. No issues from it. We could obviously protect a few guys. Pedro and Maddison didn't start. Everyone is good. It was a challenge for them. Delap was a handful last week. Erling is the premier striker in world football when he's up and running. Great challenge, but whether he plays or not, it will still be a great test for all of our group. Yeah, there's still... I saw reports that he will play. I've seen some reports that he might not play. I really don't know what the situation is on Erling Haaland. I'm not too sure. They asked him, are you confident in beating Man City? He says, you're always looking forward to the challenge. Manchester City are an outstanding football club, great manager, and they've still got some great footballers. They're playing really challenging football for any opponent, but we have enjoyed our games against them, whether that was this year or last year. You're going to get a good game of football. They're going to try and win. They're going to try and play expansively, and we're going to try and do the same. It'll be a good test for us. And I think that's what's fair. When you think about this game and you think about the previous few years in this game, if we step aside from, Mourinho and Conte ball, normally this game is an absolute belter of a game to watch if you're a neutral. And I think it will be no different today. I think it's going to be quite an open game. Both teams are scoring. I don't think Man City are coming here and not scoring. Both teams will score today. And it makes for a painful watch as a Spurs fan. You hate having to watch another team score, but I think we will win this game. I do think so. I think defensively, playing against teams like Man City, you can get at them, right? We've seen it against Liverpool. You can get at Liverpool. You can get at, any big boy. And we've shown that we can do that. Tonight will be no different. They concede just as many goals as we do, and they score just as many as we do. So expect goals is all I will say. Man City on the slide, Spurs on the up. Evening incoming, mate. How are we? Happy late. Thank you very much. Ange hates the assist stat, but loves the Dane assist. I agree with the Dane the assist situation. I completely agree with Ange. And if you don't, I just think you're a bit of a new person to football, in my opinion. You live by XG. You worship XG. I don't know. Maybe I grew up through the 90s and into the 2000s, and I understand that football isn't played on paper. I don't know. Maybe that's crazy by me. Hey, Baz, how are you, mate? Prayers up, Milton, mate. Look after yourself, all right? Always think the most positive in all the worst situations. Think positive, mate, all right? 3 on Spurs. Decky tells Son to score. Love it, Bardan. We are fine. Ivan, how are you, my friend? Marmouche is a threat, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with analytics. No, there's nothing wrong with analytics in itself. Not at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the people that go, well, if you look at this guy, he's got 10 assists this season. It's like, I mean... But when you look at some of the assists people get nowadays, They just hand assists out like it's free. So I completely agree with Ange. I mean, I'm nearly 30, so you know, I've grown up in a much different, world of football than it is right now, and I completely agree with Ange wholeheartedly. He talks about Rodrigo Bentancur's contract extension. He says he's been great in terms of contract situation. That's handled by other people, and obviously, a lot of our strategizing is not just about the short term, but the longer term. This latter period, he's been getting back to levels he wants to be, which I agree. As we are getting healthier, I think you are seeing every player's form just go up a level. Rodrigo is definitely one of those guys that is. You compare where he was a few weeks ago to where he is now, the performance levels have really taken a step up. He was coming off long-term injury last year, came back, looked really good, and then got another injury. It's been really disruptive. Even this year, he got off to a full start with his long suspension. You can see he just needs regular game time, and he's getting up to speed. A really good guy around the group as well. He's experienced now. From our perspective, in this running, he's going to be really important, and I think that's fair. I've always said about his contract situation, just earn it. And if he earns it, fantastic. Because I will still say this now. He is our best midfielder. Everyone playing 10 out of 10, he's our best midfielder still. And we need to be aware of that. They ask questions about how's the mood after winning 3 in a row, which you'd expect it's going to be half decent. He talks about other things, going through it. I'm not really going to go through it that much. They asked about Jed Spence taking advantage of other players' injuries. And they said, what do you reckon? How do you sort of rate him this season? And he said, he's been outstanding. He continues to be outstanding. The challenge for Jed is to keep going, not to be satisfied with what he's got now, and with the same hunger and attitude that he has taken his opportunity. As you said, that's all you can sort of provide is an opportunity. He needs now to make sure he doesn't look back from that and keeps pushing on, because he has so much growth in him and potential. He hasn't really been settled in his career apart over the years at Forest, where he kind of really had some great form. But since then, it's been stop-start for him. And he's just got to ensure that now he's up and running. He keeps going. Rate that. Love that comment. I do love that comment. We do have a bit of an update. Jesus Christ, who the hell is that? Hawkeye, how are you, my friends? Why are you talking football with these people in the first place? Who am I talking to? Sonny on my moose, this and that, typical media. Rodrigo is intrinsic Spurs baller, world class when fit. Absolutely. Get some rest, Milton, my friend. Al Dente, I'm good, my friend. How are you? Do you think Tell will lay today? If you mean play, yes. How was my birthday? It was very good, mate. I very much appreciate it. The comments. It was lovely, nice and peaceful. Talk of Timo Werner. So this is sort of the last one before the next batch of players come back from injury, which I'm coming to in just a second. They asked him if he's been available, but not getting into the match throw squad, or is he not quite there yet? He says he was only really available for the weekend, but because of the match day squad and the kind of makeup of that squad, I left him out, obviously. We've got Ben going now. We put Reguilon on as an extra defender on the bench. But it was only Sunday's game. He was actually available, but he's trained and he's available for tomorrow. So there is another player back off as what is it? Ange says the injury rank, like a taxi rank. He's the next one off the rank. So Werner is another one gone. And like, I don't really care what you think about Werner. I'm just keeping it very, very down the line. That's another player back from injury. Obviously, we're still missing a few really big names, and there are some of those names that have just come back that won't be fit for another couple of weeks in theory. But he is another one, which is good. It is good. The people just talking next year alone, they're called youth. They're called young people, mate. That's all. I don't speak to him. I don't really listen to him, to be honest. It's Turbo Timo. How can I help? He's back off the injury rank, which is good. And we're starting to get to a point now where you look at the substitute bench, we look at the squad, and you start to go, right, this resembles a squad now. A few weeks ago, we had less than 10 players on the training field because the ones that were fit were being patched up and carried into the weekend and prayed that they can stay fit because we had no one else to change, which, by the way, you'll still get Ange being blamed for those ones, even though there's no one else to play. it's sort of nice that, you know, when we do think about these players and we do think about the guys coming back off injury list, that you do think about the fact they're going to be training again. And I think this team requires a little bit more training. You know, you think Danso's new, Tell's new. You think about Jed Spence, he's still fairly new into this situation. Obviously, talking about playing, if you know what I mean. Um, you know, Bergvall and Gray could do with more. You know, they're still young and they're still developing. So the ability to have these players around allows you to train in the week and allows you to be so much better at the weekend. You think about the last 2 games we've played, we look so much better because we've had a bit of rest and we've trained. And I think it's really, really big. Sadly, I don't say we would. Sorry, Timo makes no real difference to the squad. Rather see Scarlett or more come on. I'm not saying about coming on, but what I'm saying is it's another body. And whether you like it or not, he is a body within that squad. Rotation is such a good thing. Now, absolutely. A few weeks ago, we had Tottenham High School Year 10 team, and they had to go to bed early for their O-levels. Yeah, a lot of them, like I said, they can't buy a beer. If I said, could you buy me a beer? They wouldn't be able to. It's not what I want my bet to look like. I don't mind the odd 1 or 2 because they're really, like Mikey, for example, really exciting. But what I don't want to see is 6 of them on the bench and quite frequently, you know? So, you know what I mean? But no, really good stuff on that side of things. Ben Davies, though. Ben Davies is injured, okay? But hear me out. They said at the weekend he was managing his minutes. Has something else happened since? He said, no, it's still the same. He's been carrying a little knock for a little while. And to be fair, he's played through it. But I've said before that I think this is a real key period for us. I want as many players in the best possible condition for what's coming up. You know, after this game, again, we've got a good 7-day break leading into Europe League, and those 4 games are going to be massive for us. And I don't see the need to push people at this stage when we've got other players need game time, like Destiny, like Brennan, like Wilson. These guys who are coming back. So he hasn't re-injured anything. But like I said, he's been carrying something I don't want to push at the moment, which, do you know what? I totally get. I totally get. When you think about the 6th, so the 6th next month is the AZ Alkmaar first leg. And I probably am going to spoil a little bit for you because I was going to come to it in a minute. I'm going to spoil a little bit for you. There is a situation and an outside chance that Mickey, Kuti, Dominic are all fit for that. Maybe even Richarlison. Okay, I'm going to come to Ange's comments about them in a minute. I would rather Davies play in that game, that AZ Alkmaar game, because knowing that they're so close to being back, what I don't want is us to get there, lose another defender, and then those guys having to play big minutes. I'd rather get to AZ Alkmaar and go, right, Jed's in the Europe squad now as well, so we've got that ability to rotate. Right, cool. Davies is playing 70 minutes. Mickey's on the 20. You know, that kind of vibe. Get some minutes into his, or Kuti, get some minutes into their legs. Nothing mental. 10, 15 minutes. Just build them up. I'd rather not lose Davies as we get to that period when they're coming back, because then you're going to be rushing those guys to play a little bit more, or Archie Gray's having to play even more defense. Let's not do that. Let's get to AZ Alkmaar. Give Ben Davies, who's going to have had 2 or 3 weeks rest by that period. 2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks. No, it's even longer. It'll be longer than that, won't it? I think it'll be longer than that, potentially. But regardless, you get my point. Getting a little bit of time off, then he's fit and raring to go for AZ Alkmaar. And then we can bring those 2 guys back in the right way. And then they'll be fitter for the rest of the season because of that. So, I am new. Do you make daily videos and live watch-alongs? Love the vids. Yes, I do, young mate. Yes, I do. Davies is a miss. Absolutely. Players shouldn't play through knocks. They should be rested. Thing is, I get the idea players not playing through knocks, but Davies is old school. And the reason why he's old school is he's only just a little bit older than me, and I'm old school. If I have a knock, I play through it. He's the exact same. You get a knock, you play through it. Can you walk? Can you run? Can you jump? Can you pass a ball? Yes, right, play through it. That's the attitude that especially I grew up playing. You know, rub some mud on it, you'll be fine. Okay, well, one leg's going this way, I've got another leg that way. Just rub some mud on it, you'll be fine kind of thing, right? You know, Davies is that kind of old school player. I think this is more Ange and the medical team. And by the way, we slag the medical team off a lot. This could be down to the medical team going, it's just not worth it because it could be a groin or a quad that could go at any time. Don't risk him. Give him another week. And you know what? Push come to shove, stick him on the bench if necessary. If something was to happen, stick him on the bench. Then he can come on if necessary. Okay, but from from the sounds of that, you would have to say Gray's going to be at centre half tonight. That's my guess. Knock is as part of 90 minutes, and most won't be serious, but carrying injuries is a different matter. Important one game that AZ. I hope we get Van de Ven back along with Danson at centre back. Your midfield for the game. What did I say? I said Bentancur, Bergval, and Madders. I think I said that. Cooley seems to be playing knocks and all, but might bite him long term. Well, the beauty is people complaining. He looks tired. He looks this, he looks that. Well, he's played 2 games in 2 weeks before this period. This game. They've had probably 6 or 7 days worth of just rest away from playing football in terms of days off. He should somewhat be fit again. I'm not saying he should be red hot, raring to go. I'm just saying he should be a lot fitter. That he should be able to handle a 90 minutes again. Ange's playing a run. He's planning a run at the Europa. It's not exactly the same, but I've heard this talk before. The A League is a final series like Rugby League, and that's when I've heard it. There you go. Can see them being available for second leg potentially. Can Odebear play striker? Right. Odebear's playing right. Odebear's playing right back. Spence is going to play centre mid. Big difference between the EPL and the Sunday League. Oi, Billy. All right. I won't be having this. All right. Oh, I was great on Sundays. I occasionally played Saturdays. All right. Destroyed my knee, but I'm pretty much a Premier League footballer. Pretty much. It's like this close. Would have gone pro if it wasn't for my bum knee. Physio coach Bunge gets every player off the deck. That's it. I'm not going to go through what he said about assists and things like that. But if you do read it, it's hilarious because he mugs a lot of people off about it. And I've seen Spurs fans get up in arms like, why would you say that about Dane Scarlett? It's like, please listen to what he said. Listen to the tone. Don't read a transcript and take that as a gospel. Listen to him. Listen to the tone. And you can see he's having a bit of fun with it. But look, really, really good stuff. He talks about the training and how great it is. He also, he backs Matisse Tell because Matisse Tell recently has been. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to mind my language. I'm going to mind. I'm going to mind how I go about saying this. If you're one of those people that's been slagging off Matisse Tell, you need to get a life and go out and touch some grass. The guy's 19. He's just turned up in England in a whole new country, in a team that was missing 10, 11, 12 players, a team that's, out of form. Are you expecting him to come in and score a hat-trick every game? No. There's going to be times where he's not going to play well. That's common. That is actually common. Okay? He's 20 times the footballer you or I will ever be. Let the guy settle. He's a teenager. You at a teenager to you 5 years later at 25, 2 very different human beings. No? So he talked about him. And he said, they said he believes the Frenchman will be something different. He said, I don't think he's going to be that kind of striker, but that doesn't mean he can't be a really good central striker. There are different types. With Matisse, I'm not on social media, but I can just imagine the comments about him. He's 19 years old. He hadn't played a lot. We've thrown him in and kept him in there because I want to build up his fitness. But if anyone is expecting him to come in as a 19-year-old and take the Premier League by storm by scoring multiple goals, it's just not realistic. It just can't happen. What we're trying to do is work with him. He needs to get his physical fitness up because he hasn't played a lot of football. At 19, I see really outstanding attributes in him, and I think he could be a really good number 9. He can play wide as well, but he's not going to be a Dom or a Liam Delap. He's a different type. Looking at him in training, his movement are becoming a bit more fluent. He's getting used to the way we play. He's getting used to the level of competition. What I do love about him is that he's a hard worker. You can watch him in games. He's closing people down. He's doing the things we need him to do at the moment to help us. He may not be getting the goals and the accolades, but he's certainly contributing to the way we want to play. That's the most important thing. He's got so much growth in him, and we will see that. That's brilliant. That's exactly what I would want Ange to say if I was a young player coming through. You know, it's he needs an arm around him to help him settle. He needs protecting from medias and things like that. I don't know about you, right? And you may be different. I'm not at Spurs training every single day to see how these players are playing, right? You might be. And if you are, I'd love to know your thoughts and feelings about certain players. But Ange sees these guys every day. He sees them in training. He sees them in the gym room. He sees them in, when they study the games and they talk about them. He sees how he interacts with other players. If he's saying, look, his movement's starting to become quite fluid, you're going to start hopefully seeing in the next couple of weeks, the performance levels just tick up a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to go from where he is now to the world's best striker. I'm just saying he's going to just take it up an extra 10%. You start seeing the odd goal or two kicking in, So I really like what I've seen from Tel. Maybe I'm in the minority here. I liked what I've seen from Tel. His link-up play is very solid. When actually you compare him to other players in the attack who take sometimes that extra touch too much, or they slow the ball down so that means they can make sure the pass is going. You can tell he has played at a team that is week in, week out, 65, 70, 75% possession in Bayern Munich. The ball goes into him and it's first time sprung out to someone else. I talked about how Pape could be great with Tel because Pape seems to find himself in a lot of space quite frequently. The ball goes into Tel. Tel just swipes it straight away into a central midfielder and it goes. The fact that he's 19 doing that and he's a better passer of the ball than some of our own players who played football for longer shows a lot. Shows his development and teaching at Bayern Munich has been beneficial. So what do we all think about Matisse? Do we like Matisse? Do we not like Matisse? I really like Tel. He's a driving force. Training must be significantly better to be able to actually feel the first team versus first team and not first team versus kids. More competitive training keeps play at a high level. Absolutely. ACL is 9 months minimum. Bit Billy. I know that, mate. I know that. I've done my ACL. I will talk about Agajin in a minute, though. I really like Tel. He's a driving force for Spurs. Exactly. Don't rush back for the league. Only Europa. We definitely need them for that. Hi, Cozy. How are you, my friends? Could be good mates with Slanky. Polly's favourite. Certainly, Ange believes in him, and that's good enough for me. Give the bloke a chance to settle in. New environment, playing with new teammates. Unbelievable people are on him already. Some coaches are very just hard judges. Do you reckon when he's getting substituted, they just hold up like a 5? Because that's what I think he rates out of 10. 5, and you get like a commentator in the corner going, oh, and Mark's giving him a 5 out of 10. That was a harsh decision from Mark today. Like they're doing the Olympics for the Olympic diving. I believe Tel looks like he's just trying too hard, and he's giving 100% for the club, and he'll settle in. Yeah, I'd rather him try too hard than not try at all. He's proven to have an eye for developing young players. He's certainly now to elevate Tel's game. Did Ange mention Delap? Yes, Ange is such a good manager around the young players. Goes under the radar, not enough. Big up. He definitely does. He did more than once. Billy's asking the question. Someone asked me a question. Billy's like, Andy, I've got you, bud. I'll answer that one for you. It's good. It's good. I've got some backup in the chat. Look how Graham Bergvall developed under Ange. Absolutely spot on, sports lover. Tel needs time, has potential, fans needs patience. You see Spence selling ciggies at training. Oh, wait, stop that now. Yeah, Tel's like, he's got like a trench coat and he goes, what do you want? Marlboro Reds, really? Must be a tough morning to be. Kane rates Tel. Yeah, absolutely. Tel doesn't fit a system. I don't know about that. More than all, Kulu should play as a wing back. Tel should just adjust to a new country, new style of play. I don't know. Keep Kulu further up the pitch. Keep him further up the pitch. I think Brendan Johnson and Tel will link up well in the future. Sell Bissouma this summer. I'm going to be talking about Bissouma in a minute. Probably not until the end of the season. That touch for the goal he scored was elite. That's all we need to say. Yeah, he's got so much potential. Just needs time. I always think judge him towards the end of the season. It's like I've been fair. I was fair about Bergvall and Gray because I think, Bergvall struggled for a little while, right? And everyone was like, guys, out of his depth, he needs to go out on loan. And I said, just let him have a few months to settle in. He's a young kid in a brand new country, in a brand new football league, and a brand new style of play. Give him some time, and if it still looks like this, maybe a year in, then we'll have a conversation. But just give him a moment to breathe. And ironically, Bergvall looks pretty damn good. Teller's great potential ability. We haven't seen his quick shot of power yet. Really good movement. Nice one-touch passing. Agreed. He just needs to get stronger, which will come with age. Exactly. They always say he's got his... As you get older, you get your man's body, right? He's a teenager. He's going to be a little while till he gets that. Wait till Archie Gray gets his man body. He starts handling physicality even better. Him and Bergvall, the fact that they're handling it now at the age they are, when they're hitting 24 and 25, when they've matured, Jesus Christ, the sky is the limit for those two. And as I like to call them, they're rock stars. Taylor appears to be a good player. Johnson's blind crosses, that's what he's asked to do, and he does them well. Taylor's getting used to the Premier League pace, but he's very keen and always looks to score. Absolutely. I think he needs a little time. People were bagging Dom at the beginning. Yeah, and he's had a decent season. People writing off Bergvall 2 games. Now, look, people wrote Vicario off of 1 game. Vic, the first game of the season last year, wrote him off. It's just internet fans who... They want to say something because they want to get interaction on their posts. They do it. YouTubers do it. They do it. You watch any fan account. There'll be of any fan club. There'll be fan accounts within that fan base on YouTube who are saying the most outlandish things to get reaction, to go viral, to get subscribers. We've taken our time to grow this channel, and it's because we have a good conversation about the players. We might go... Dom didn't play well today. He didn't play well today. Should have come off. But we've also gone. He is also new. He could probably do with a run of games just to get settled. It's same with Tell, Gray, Bergvall. Gray and Bergvall, at the start weren't truly backed. People wrote off. People wrote off Destiny Adoggy. It's like, okay. Jesus, fair enough. People wrote off Brennan Johnson. It's like, well, 17 goal contributions this season might show you otherwise. People wrote off Sonny, 20 goal contributions this season. People slag off James Maddison. It's like, what games do you watch? You think James Maddison should be prime Kaka or something? Lad, get in the real world when it comes to our players. They're human beings. They have down days. They have bad games. Does it mean they're bad players? No, it doesn't. Okay? You can critique. You can, absolutely. That's, you critique about a player on the game that day. Brennan Johnson at the weekend, right? Scores 2 goals. Brilliant. What do we want from Johnson? Score goals. We don't ask Johnson to dribble past 12 players. We don't ask Johnson to take free kicks and corners. We ask him, ball, net, ball. Yeah? He goes, yeah, got it. Great. Cheers, Jono. The other 10... do the work to get it there. He's one of those that finishes. It's what we ask him to do. If he doesn't score, it doesn't mean he's a bad player. And if he does score, it doesn't mean he's a great player. You judge on the game-to-game basis. That's my attitude, at least. People run off Bergvall after 2 games. Now, look, yeah, absolutely. On Tell, coming in the second half of the season with minimal training time, he needs time. Aussie say, wait till he finds out. If he had pre-season, he'd understand the system better. Yeah, you think about some of these players, if they have pre-season, Kevin Danso after a pre-season. That is going to be a monster centre-back, by the way. Kevin Danso. I cannot stress enough how much I rate Kevin Danso. I was a bit, at first when we signed him, I was a bit like, I think he's a good player. I was a bit like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, this is a guy that absolutely suits Ange ball to a T. Physical, quick, good with the ball. Doesn't mind stepping up with the ball, a bit like Kuti does as well. Kuti does not mind stepping up the ball. Cheeky 1-2s with Porro and things like that. You're starting to see it with Kevin. You're starting to see it. And you're starting to see him because he's starting to settle. He obviously, he's been in the Premier League. That helps. He knows what to expect a little bit. You're starting to see him already really develop. And I'm like, just saying, guy looks a player, doesn't he not, Kevin? Oh, Kev. A scream. without S, pence. Are people moaning about Tell already? Dear God, I know, Johnny. Fickleness of sports fan, it's the same all over the world with all professional sport. Absolutely. Again, you shouldn't listen to anyone writing off young and new players. Agreed. Tell me will be a top goal scorer and assist record next season, I believe. We will be there. Tell top joint prem scorer next season with Solanke. Lovely that. Still got a little bit more to talk about. I am going to rattle through it. And I do need to actually charge my MacBook. That'll be a start. Let's talk about the returning players from injury. So obviously we've talked about Werner. Romero is back in full first team training. Dominic Solanke has also returned to training as well, but has individually been put through his paces. So he's probably just a little bit behind Romero in terms of recovering and coming back. But Ange has said Dominic, I'm talking about, is ahead of schedule, which is brilliant. He says, talking about AZ Alkmaar next Thursday, he said, I'd say outside chance for any of the three of them being Mickey, Kuti, and Dom. But they'll certainly be back training fully by then. Then we've got Bournemouth at the weekend, and I reckon much better odds for that. So we're talking 9th of December, 9th of March when we play Bournemouth. There's a really good chance that these three will be in and around the squad for that game. He goes to say, Dom's the only one we've got to be careful because he's ahead of schedule, so I don't want to push that in case. So in case we need to pull the reins in a bit, but with Romero and Mickey, that's the plan at this stage. So the 6th, 9th of March, we'll expect to see them back, which is going to be great. We've got a little window where hopefully we can get something into them. We've got 2 European games and 3 league games between now and the international break, so I really want them up and running by then. He talks about double sessions. He talks about days off. Loads of stuff he goes into about that. So really great news, by the way, on the fact that some of our players are slowly and surely getting there, and the fact that in a couple of weeks' time, we might have a situation where we might have these guys back. I mean, imagine that in 3 weeks' time. In 3 weeks' time, you have got Solanke, Kuti, and Mickey all back. You know, they won't be 100% fit. It'll be closer towards the end of the month that they'll be more 100% fit. But the fact they'd be back, that would be incredible. And, let's talk about AZ Alkmaar on the 6th. If I just bring it up really quickly, because I'm sort of speaking ahead of schedule, I know. We play away at AZ Alkmaar, right? What's to say we don't go through that game and we win 3-1? And you start to go, I don't think we need to see Mickey and Kuti in the second leg. I think we might just stick with Davies and Danso. And then you go, here we go. Mickey and Kuti playing once a week. Oh, okay. Yeah. So they're fabulous and amazing centre backs. Oh, yeah. I can see why. They're not having to play every 30 seconds, are they? So love it. You have to give flowers to Lang. He has picked out some true gems. Danso has been a bargain of the winter window for us. He may have lowered Dragon A-level already. Even Dragon, how are you? What a feeling we got Danso on the field. Oh, brilliant. He's slow. He is slow as purchasing that because of the funds. Mate, grab your squash, mate. Slam down that bad boy. Helps you cough. Absolutely. Spurs will have a squad to try and fight not only first 11 to be on the bench. Exactly, Andy. Important to have a good first 11 to help Mickey and Kuti as much time to be 100%. Yeah, I mean, if we could get through that first leg and be in control of the tie, you go, stick one of them on the bench just in case we might need them. Just in case. But we don't want to see him on the pitch unless we have to have him on the pitch for that second leg. Now, if we get to that second leg and it's 2-2 in aggregate, you might play him, you might not. You should probably still have enough to get through, even with Davies and Danso at centre back. You factor in the fact that you look at the rest of the team being as healthy as it is, it shouldn't be a concern as such. So, just saying on that side of things. Exactly, Andy. But yeah, I've done that. Not only that, if we play them in the final, Danso and Davies can play both games around that. Andy may not even need Romero anymore. Danso could. Oh, well, no, we still need Romero. Romero's still an absolute stud. Right, finishing off with a little bit of Bissouma flavoured news. Ekram Quinor saying that Tottenham's midfielder Yves Bissouma is open to a move to a club where he can get more playing time in the summer transfer window. I don't think that's shocking to anyone. I don't whatsoever think that's shocking to anyone. I think he is gone in the summer. Um, I would say Spurs cashing in on Bissouma makes a ton of sense. Get sort of 15 million for him. You're not going to get 25, 30 million for Bissouma. 15 million because he's late 20s and he's got 1 year left in his contract. That's why. But late sort of 15, maybe 17 and a half, something like you got for Højbjerg, 17 and a half million in total, I think could be about right. Do you know what? Basuma would be so good in a Bundesliga or a Serie A. He'd be so good in those leagues, especially a Bundesliga. He'd be really good. You can see Dortmund being all over him. Would a Leipzig? I don't know if Leipzig would. Leverkusen wouldn't. Yeah, Dortmund could be all over him. And I think, look, taking 17.5 million, take that money, free up the spot. Even if that spot is then taken by Archie Gray, fine. No issues with that personally. Use Archie Gray as your rotating number 6 next season. I'm all on board for that, to be honest. At least he's being more mature than Richie to this point. So look, I think Bissouma will be gone in the summer. We'll sort of see. But yeah, on the game tonight, looking at the Premier League table, right now, Spurs 13th because Palace won, by the way, last night. Spurs obviously have that game in hand on them. Spurs winning that go above them onto 36 points. We would be then 1 point behind Brentford. Depending if they win or lose. Obviously, Bournemouth lost last night to Brighton. So Spurs 10 points behind them. Obviously, with that game in hand tonight, as well as Bournemouth then on the 9th. Obviously, 2 games in hand on Villa, including tonight, and 9 points behind them. You go 3 points behind Villa. So, like I said to you, I've said it multiple times. I will continue to say it multiple times. The league season isn't over. There's still so much to play for, and tonight's so important for that. You've got a bang out of form Manchester City team who, for the most part, are fairly healthy. They are missing Rodri. We know that. Stones, they're missing him. But again, when you've got multiple defenders who you've spent 50 million and above on, it shouldn't be the end of the world. You've got Cavadio, you've got Diaz, Akanji, Ake. I mean, Akanji's the cheapest one at 18.5 million, but Ake's a 40-odd million defender, Kusanov 40-odd million defender. So they've got a lot of things in that regard. Rico Lewis, solid right back. So they've got a lot of options still defensively. Midfield, a lot of options. I'd expect to see Kovacic playing in this game for some defensive ability. But Spurs should be able to get through that midfield press. Defensively, not sound enough. So you should be able to get through that mid press. And that's why I'm saying James Maddison, big game tonight. Pep was talking about, Pep was really raving about Maddison. They actually wanted Maddison at Man City before he joined Spurs. So Pep likes him. Maddison, huge game tonight. I really, really think he will have a huge game tonight. And you're going to need... Why do I think if Johnson starts, he's going to have a big game? I don't know why Johnson's going to have a big game if he does start. Maybe I'm absolutely bonkers, but I feel like... Because Johnson always seems to have good success against Gvardiol. His movement is very good, obviously arriving at the back post. But one of the wingers is going to have a belter game. Sonny, or if it is Johnson or if it's Kulu, one of them's going to have a good game. And Matisse Tell's going to have to stand up to some pretty, experienced centre-backs. So let's just sort of see on that side of things. But defensively, look, you've got Porro having had a lot of rest. He might be back in the team. It still might be Destiny. Spence, obviously, still there. Still at Danso, the monster that he is. So you never sort of know on those sort of things. But massive game, so I'm looking forward to it. And the last thing is Radu Dragusin. 2 weeks ago yesterday, had his ACL surgery. The guy is in the gym already doing legs. Now, I don't know about you. I've had an ACL rupture. Okay. I couldn't work my legs properly for ages. The guy has had invasive surgeries and is already doing stuff in 2 weeks. ACL surgery, that recovery is somewhere between 9 and 12 months, really, right? 12 months if it takes you a little bit longer. 9 months if you're really quite good. Radu's going to be back before then, in my opinion. I think Radu's going to be back in like 8 months. It's going to be Radu, in the nicest way, you're a freak. How the hell can you do that, lad? You're an absolute freak for that. What a monster. Is Haaland back for this game? Don't know. Oh, starting to lag. Oh, I think it's because I need to charge. Not too sure. I think it's getting a bit better. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to head off before my computer implodes. Thank you all so much for watching. And I'll speak to you a little bit later to hopefully talk about the fact that Spurs have got a good result against Manchester City. Take care, everyone. See you then. Peace.